Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news.
Koto e te whānau, and welcome back to Big Hairy News or Bright Hairy News on a Friday night with myself and myself. So yes, it's obviously, as we all know, Ems, Pat and Emily have flown off to Auckland. They arrived safe, so I definitely got news that they're safe. And yeah, I didn't end up with a co-host this week because I guess it's just a really busy week for everyone. That's fine though. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. We'll just do a solo show. I've got a lot of stuff for you guys tonight, so bear in mind with me if I have to randomly kind of mutter my way opening my links without someone to fill the air for me. But kei te pai, because as you could probably see from the description, we've got a live interview tonight. So I've got someone in my waiting room already. So I'm really excited to have a kōrero with them. And yeah, we've got some news out about RNZ, as you've all probably seen, and some crazy stuff with Gloriavale in the news, which was quite good timing because I've been watching a lot of podcasts with ex-Gloriavale members. So this has been something that I've been soaking in and absorbing and watching all of the good content out there. But yeah, and I believe we might get a pop-in from either Pat or Ems tonight. Obviously, they're about 2 hours into a meetup with our awesome Auckland BHNers. So we'll see. We'll see if they turn up. But we did have some news today. So I believe Pat or Ems will try to come in and have a kōrero. Otherwise, I'll have some spicy update news for you in the world of BHN debates. So yes, it's going to be a very, very good night. And hey, you guys get to hang out with me. It's a Friday night. My neighbors have been blasting ABBA and Bonnie Tyler all night, which has been kind of random because they're a young group of students, but hey, I'm living for it. But we better do some quick housekeeping so we don't keep our guest waiting too long. So housekeeping. If you like what BHN do and you're really loving the debates and all of the great interviews that we have and all the great conversations, head on over to patreon.com/CW/Big Hairy News, and you can sign up to be a patron. You can get behind the scenes sneak peeks. I believe we are definitely owing a meetup, but as you'll all be able to see, Pat, Chewy, Ems, it's all busy at the moment. So give us a little bit of grace with the online meetup that we will definitely have when Pat has a spare second to actually breathe, since poor dude is working overtime. But that's all thanks to patron support. So if you want to go support us there, little as $5. We also have our website, bhn.nz, which you can see that we're live right now, and we can dismiss that as well. You can head to our shop. Obviously, Pat will not be making any of the orders over the weekend, but if you want to order something maybe for the later Dunedin debate maybe, or you just want to treat yourself because it's been cold and kind of shitty, we've got the DTP merch is on sale, so get it while you can, get it while it's relevant. Really don't want to have to flip that 6 upside down to a 9. So, and obviously get yourself some chewy fufu because there's a lot to fufu at this year. And you can also, if you want to come hang out with us in Discord, you can click the link in the top right corner, come hang out with us, where you'll get fresh memes the second they hit the internet because our people are just good like that. You can also advertise with BHN, you can donate, and yeah, thank you for all the lovely support you guys give us. It is very much appreciated. But without further ado, I would like to welcome to the show Cam Dickson, who is the Clubs and Activities... I missed a word there, didn't I? Activities Officer. There we go. We got it. So, yes, kia ora, Cam. Welcome to the show.
Kia ora. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, no worries. I love the green background. We're really matching. We're very color. We're on the same wavelengths, and I'm loving that. It's fitting our nice green Friday. But yeah, I was really, really glad that you guys were able to have someone from VUWSA be able to come on and talk to us, because obviously I listened to, I think, I believe it was Aiden had a radio interview a few days back on the Morning Report. That was really interesting to see. Just kind of a capture on what students are going through right now. So I guess for anyone who hasn't seen the story or who doesn't know, would you be able to explain just kind of what's going on? I know you had a survey, so what was it? Who'd you survey, and what have you guys found out about students?
Yeah, 100%. I think what's going on is a pretty big question, but we've been doing, I can maybe answer a little bit better. A lot of this is in the wake of the State of the Students survey that VUWSA put together that dropped on...
It's all right, we're good. We're waiting. He's coming back, maybe?
I'm back.
Yeah, there you are. We got you.
Hate to drop out on you. This is regarding the survey. On Monday, VUWSA released our State of the Students survey, and this was a survey that we conducted over a 2-week period back in March. Surveyed about 1,240 of our students up here at Vic, and this was to do with the kind of the holistic look at the student experience, right? So we have lots of data on how students are doing in class and how they're doing at university, but we know that's very tied to how their flats are, how their food is, if they can get to class, and so we wanted to look at all these factors and get kind of a clearer picture of how our students are doing, really.
No, absolutely. I was quite shocked to well, okay. When I say shocked, I wasn't really that shocked. I only graduated myself from Vic Uni last year, so I'm not too far removed from the student experience. And yeah, I think what really, really struck me when I became a student was realizing the really yuck attitudes people have about what the student experience should be, or I guess maybe not realizing that the poor student experience from, say, the 90s is not quite the same poor student experience from the 2020s. So yeah, I'll just quickly bring up this beautiful article that... just so people can have a bit of a read while we have this corridor. So yeah, but the main big headline that we got was uni students are skipping meals and classes to keep on top of bills. And oh, look at these absolutely handsome people. Aren't they just lovely? So yeah, I mean, I see here, obviously, the biggest thing is that a third of the students who responded said they had skipped a meal in the previous week because they couldn't afford to eat. And I believe actually you yourself have missed classes because you can't take public transport, if I remember correctly.
it's just a rough scene all around, right? Like I think you talk about the uni experience, and you talk
Mm,
about this idea that it's character building, and it's not
mm,
character building that I
mm.
have to skip dinner once a week.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
it's making me worse at my studies. It's making me feel worse. It's putting a damper on this time where I'm trying to like develop and contribute to my community and engage with all this like kind of learning, right? Like I think the experience at up the hill at university is quite good, and I really like engaging with it. And then I go home and
Mm,
I remember that there's just this whole other aspect which is so hard to
mm.
being a student.
No, absolutely. I can really tautoko coming home to your damp, cold flat. I mean, to be fair, that hasn't changed since I left uni. I'm still in a damp, cold flat. But it's really hard when you feel like you're trying to work so hard, you just want to go home, you want to relax, you want to be able to just feel okay in your own space. And when you go home and realizing that, oh, damn, maybe I will actually stay at uni for a few extra hours because free heating and it's actually not too bad at the uni. You've got a lot of good amenities there. I know I definitely cashed in on the heated university library many a time during winter, and the classic charging everything you own just to use their electricity, like, but it shouldn't be this way. And I think that's what's so just really getting me about seeing the actual kind of the results being there. And I mean, you surveyed over 1,200 people. That's a pretty good sample data. So yeah, I guess kind of adding to that, like, so I remember only a couple years ago regularly going to VUWSA office and asking for, the cheap council rubbish bags or the community pantry. And I was wondering, have you been finding demand for the pantry has increased this year, or, are you noticing anything around that?
I mean, I don't even think the word is increased. I think the word is it's skyrocketing. Just like of course, I'm in the office quite a bit, working here, and you have to fight through the line of people lining up to get a few cans of corn and a tin of tuna and some crackers. And what was once getting ordered once every 2 weeks, we're now ordering twice, even 3 times a week to keep this cupboard full of food. I know
Wow.
there's had to be a full scale back, so you're not getting things like toothpaste or deodorant anymore because it's simply too expensive. It's just the bare essentials. More people are using it than ever, and the people who are using it are needing it more than ever.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. And I imagine, as a student association, like, I know in my experience, you don't have a lot of money to work with. So are you guys finding that you're getting kind of worried about how to be able to manage such a skyrocketing of demand?
Yeah, 100%. We get some funding from the uni for the community pantry. It's not enough. It runs out not even halfway through the year now.
Mm,
You need to look at an increase in that funding. We're already scaling back. We're scaling back the fun stuff, right? To give students food. And we think that our function is to help students as much as we can. But if we're putting our whole budget into feeding them, then that really speaks to a greater pressure and some real problems.
yeah, actually, I hadn't even in that question kind of thought about the impact that that might have on, like you say, the events that you hold, especially during O Week, and all those types of things. I know VUSA provides a lot. So, yeah, that's got to be really damaging on the kind of social experience that students are getting as well. Kind of the fact that, services like VUSA might not be able to provide so many social options, as well as also, how do you have social options when you're working? What was it? I think, did your survey find it was about 12 hours a week that students are working on top of their 40-hour study week, for those who aren't aware of full time study?
It's full-time study. So I do class all week. I'm doing lectures all day. I'm doing my assignments. I'm going to tutorials, and then it's 12.2 hours a week. The average student is working. That goes up to 13.7 for our Tuera Mori. There's certain disadvantaged groups that are having to work even more than the average student just to feed themselves, to keep the lights on. Uh, it's not, no one wants the fact that the average person is having a 52-hour week. I don't think that's acceptable.
Gosh. And they wonder why students are just relying on things like ChatGPT. Maybe it's almost like it's hard to try and add all that extra thinking in when you're, living off. Actually, I think I've got it here. I loved this quote from yours in the article. People talk about chicken and rice. We're not doing chicken and rice. We're doing beans and rice. I'm moving away from fresh fruit and vegetables because they're not super accessible right now. Going heavy on carbs, on the cans, on the box stuff. And I think, yeah, I mean, chicken in this economy, have we seen how expensive chicken's been getting? And God, don't even get me started on mince. It is ridiculous. And I found when I was a student, I guess I was lucky in that I didn't work, but I also just had to make my finances work from another angle. But I can't imagine just having that's what makes it a 52-hour week, bare minimum. And then you're supposed to find time to socialize, actually, create bonds with, because that's the thing that I noticed even just in my time when it was already kind of getting harder. Now it's just fucking so much worse, is that it is really difficult to kind of get into the social stuff when you're just so bogged down with all the study, all of the commitments that you have around that, not to mention, family on top of this. There are some people who are also parents while they're doing this, which blows my mind. And yeah, it really bothers me that this is what we think is acceptable for our students, especially given its likely effect on the results that are coming out from our students. I mean, it's just frustrating. So I guess on that, what issues are students coming to VUWSA about that are maybe new or that are just, I guess, skyrocketing compared to other years?
Yeah, I mean, we look at the pantry is a big thing for sure. We see the pantry; people are always here for the pantry. We're pouring money into that. As you mentioned, our council subsidized rubbish bags. We provide those. They're not free for students. We're just providing them at cost with a little bit of a subsidy, and people are needing more and more and more of those because they're just saving cost anywhere they can. And I think that's a $1.50 subsidy, and all the students are coming to seek that out. We're seeing things like we provide intercampus bus passes for students that have classes on two different campuses. For those who don't know, Vic has 3 main campuses that we provide a lot of our programs at. To get between those, we've seen hugely increased demand for essentially what is public transport support so that people can get to class. And things like tenancy advocacy as well. People are struggling with their landlords. They're struggling. They're going into rentals that are moldy, that are damp, that are falling apart, and they come to us and they're like, okay, how can we kind of, I'm trying to be a student, I'm trying to live, and I'm not succeeding at doing either. And so we're there to support for that as well. But all of those services just up and up and up.
Wow. I mean, I can't say that surprises me. I mean, I think the last time I looked, council rubbish bags were about $20, but I heard they might have gone up already in between the last time I bought some. So yeah, it is, and that's only 5 bags. So I mean, it's really it really shows how severe things are when something like $1.50 is really meaningful to these students. And I'm both saddened but glad to hear that people are coming to you guys for the housing issues as well, because trying to advocate for yourself when you're a student, just as a baseline, can be hard enough, but especially when it's to something like your landlord, who could decide at the whim to just kick you out, since they're allowed to do that now. Oh yes, there we go. $23. Oh, Faye.
There it is. Yeah.
How do they go up so quickly? That's the other thing I don't understand.
They keep making us pay more for them. And I think, like,
Right?
to say something from the survey, I think that people will find interesting. We took just the basic needs. So we said, how much you paying for rent, how much you paying for food, how much you paying for public transport. Just those three factors, super simple.
Mm,
That alone came out to, I think it was 338 a week for
yeah.
students. That's the average that they were paying. That is above student loan living costs. That is
Hmm.
above the maximum student allowance you can receive, and that's a three-factor calculation. Look, we didn't want to do the huge math. That doesn't include things like power. That doesn't include things like paying $23 for rubbish bags. It doesn't include all of these other, like, periphery expenses, right? Like, I
Mm.
think you're a
I
student.
mean,
You probably need to pay for a phone plan. You probably
yep.
so, like, we're looking at just exactly what you need and no more, and even sometimes not what you need,
Well, not
and we're
including
exceeding.
medications potentially as
Exactly.
well.
You need to go to
Oh,
the doctor. You need to go to the dentist. Sucks to be you. I think the cost goes up and up and up, and things are getting so much less accessible that, yeah, we are seeing things like that $1.50 mean a lot to people.
well, I guess in terms of, what you captured in some of the results, is there anything that you'd like to kind of highlight as well from your survey? That
I mean, yeah, there's a few things, and I just,
Go
like,
for
I
it.
was the in my capacity at work, I was the data lead on the survey. So I'm a math student. I deal with numbers; it's my
Oh,
thing.
wow.
And so I've been looking at these numbers for the past month and a half in my computer, and it's been a huge privilege to do that. But it has also been it's made me sad. I've come in and I've sat down at work and I've looked at numbers, like the fact that only 33% of people feel hopeful about finding an opportunity in Aotearoa once they leave university. That 70% of folks have thought about moving overseas to find these opportunities in the last kind of period. That folks are
Mm,
skipping meals. That I think it's 38% of students have skipped a class recently because they can't afford public transport. They can't afford to get to uni.
mm,
So there's all these pressures. People are having to cut money where they can. They're not even able to make it to class, and then once they make it out of university, they don't think they're going to get a job. They're going to Aussie, or they're going somewhere else where they think there is prospects.
mm.
And I think it's great, and I would love to stay here, and I would love to say, absolutely, I love Wellington, I love Vic. It's not tenable. It's not. Students can't do it,
Mm.
and so they have to go.
No, I absolutely can understand that. I mean, I've even noticed just, I live around here. I've noticed that the amount of for rent signs that are still up, even just on the terrace alone. Uh, that didn't used to happen. Like, I've lived here for about 8 years, and you'd see them for a little bit, but they'd be snapped up and gone just like between basically the two semester changes. And the fact that I've seen some of these signs sitting here for, I think, pretty much the whole year also speaks a lot to that, is that it is driving people away. Wellington isn't exactly a cheap city to live in, especially when you add in the fact that students can't get any more than about $340 a week to live off. It's no wonder that people. I also found it really interesting. You've got the 30% feel hopeful and the 70% consider leaving. Like, that feels like the perfect 100% picture right there. And actually, I just saw this. I don't know if you do know anything about this, but are you able to speak on international students? Because I know that often they can't access the same types of supports as uh, us citizens. Are you able to speak on any of that?
I'm not. I'm very privileged. The reason I sound weird is because I'm Canadian, but I do have a passport, and so I'm paying domestic fees because I would not be at university if I was not able to pay domestic fees, and I can say that hand on heart.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I know the international students. We get through Vic. We get our student fees fund student health for us. If you're an
yes.
international student, you might have to pay a fee to go to the doctor. Your course
Mm,
costs are, I think, 4 to 5 times higher on average. You're not going to get something like student allowance, as far as I'm aware. I don't know the full picture, and it's because if I did know the full picture, I wouldn't be here. I couldn't go to
no,
university.
that is so fair. That is so fair. Um, well, I guess so. I guess one thing I'm kind of thinking is that obviously a lot of these issues that the students are facing are the direct result of the things that have been done in this government, the decisions that they have made. So I guess I'm also wondering, like, how are the universities encouraging and also then enabling students to vote? Because this feels like a really important year for our students to actually engage.
It's an incredibly important. It's so important. If you haven't, if you are a tertiary student and you haven't been telling your friends to vote, start now, and hear it from me and hear it from anyone else that that believes that we need better conditions for our students. I think I heard a stat. I think it's 52 or 53% of kind of young people under maybe it's under 25, maybe it's tertiary students are enrolled to vote. Incredibly low number, and we're not going to be heard with that number. I know that students associations across the country at all the universities have a pretty simple message for students, which is show up or shut up. If you want to be heard, you have to go to the polls. And we're saying that, and AUSA is saying that, and Canterbury saying that, and Dunedin saying that. You have to enroll and you have to go. When it comes to enrolling, a lot of the time your students association can support you to do that. A lot of the time we've got enrollment forms, or we have people that are knowledgeable on how you would enroll. So I would say go and see your students association, get enrolled to vote. If you are enrolled to vote, come election day, you better go.
No, absolutely. And I also highly encourage anyone who just doesn't understand, or, is just confused in all of this. There are places like BHN that can help break down the news, but there's so many other places. And I'm sure also students came to you guys and were like, hey, I don't understand what's happening, that you guys would be able to just give them a bit of information. It's not about telling people who to vote for. It's just about getting them to vote, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we're good. All of us here are criminally interested in politics, and we know the situation, and especially the situation how it relates to tertiary students. Because we don't care who's in, we care that they have the best policy for tertiary students. And so we'll tell you who's been saying that.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really good point. I'm wondering too, since we've got some debates, I believe, coming up around education, or did we just have our education one? My brain is blanking. It's been a long day. But if there are any specific questions you have for them, maybe I'll get you to shoot them through to me, and I can pass them on to the boss to maybe potentially get some of those in front of our MPs, because there's a lot of events happening, and I think it's important for people to go to their local events, to ask those questions, and to just really engage. Also, they're usually free, so I guess it's technically a free way to go hang out with your friends. And if it's real bad, then it gives you something to laugh about for the next few days or so. I know that's the case when I watch Parliament TV. Sometimes it's either a migraine or a belly full of laughs. And so I guess on that note, like, what do you think that political parties should be doing to engage like youth voting?
There's, I mean, firstly, consider students to be part of your audience. There's a lot of us. We are going to be voting. I can tell you that. So don't ignore us. Don't leave us out of your policy. We're here and we want to be heard. I think when it comes to specific policy, we're looking at things like free public transport for tertiary students. We're looking at reinstating fees free, which has piled $12,000 of extra cost onto a bunch of first years, a bunch of people looking at coming to university. We talked about how student loan living costs and how allowance is actually below what the average student is paying minimum. We need to see an increase in that, so we'd call for that. Something like a universal student allowance, and also
Yes.
something like investment in grad roles. If we don't want everyone to leave,
Yes.
there needs to be jobs here, and you and I need to be able to get them. So
Oh,
if the
yeah.
government doesn't have a focus on the public service, on employment, regardless of how you create the jobs, you got to be thinking about it, and the students are going to need them. So
No, I mean, I absolutely agree. Also, help people get into postgraduate studies. Stop making it so hard. We get all the way up here, and some of us want to keep going, but we're poor as shit. And that's the thing, is that I think the one thing people really need to remember when they're thinking about students is students aren't just these young people who are fucking around and doing dumb shit all the time. There are people who are actively upskilling, who are going to help the country in the skills that they are, training in. And they should be seen as an asset, and rather than a burden, because it kind of feels like that's more how people treat students, as a burden rather than as something to be invested in and supported to, be able to be good doctors, not just C's get degrees. Like, let's enable our students to have enough food and warm enough homes so that they can actually get those A's. Because, man, it's hard to get an A when you're literally sitting there freezing in your house, unable to, like, pay attention to anything, let alone trying to study. So, yeah, I do think that that is something that I think as a country we really need to work on quite heavily too, is our attitudes towards students. And I guess kind of on that note, like, what do you think that either political parties or, kind of people in these positions could do to help, I guess, shift this kind of all students should suffer and that's just a part of it kind of mentality that we see?
I think, look, I mean, there's a bunch of factors that come into it, and you're right. For whatever reason, you talk to someone who went through university a while ago, and they're like, look, it's just part of it. Why is it just part of it? We have to ask ourselves that question. It doesn't Me skipping a meal, I don't think is integral to me learning about
Mm-hmm.
mathematics and statistics and going and working and helping our communities. I don't think you really have to assess your logic. And if you're convincing me that it's integral that I skip food to get this degree, I really question where you're coming from there. I
Mm-hmm.
think if you look at it, if you look at the folks, and I acknowledge that if you went to uni in the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, you absolutely did struggle. You absolutely did have the student experience. What we're saying now is not that we're struggling, but we're struggling more. It's compounded.
Mm.
It's inflation. It's cost of living crisis. It's we've had these rising living costs and these increased pressures. So we have what you had, but we have it two, three, five times worse. And
Mm-hmm.
university is becoming inaccessible to people because it is like this. And so if children in your community can't have a dream and go to university to realize that, or if they can't, yeah, want to be a doctor or a teacher, but they can't afford to, uh, where are the doctors and teachers coming from? And how are
Mm.
we supporting people? How are we viewing education as a public good, which it is, to help Aotearoa?
No, I couldn't agree more. I think it is unacceptable for us to keep just acting like it's okay to just go, oh, ha, 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 you're just a bit poor. Oh, just deal with it. I mean, like you said, deal like people who were, say, studying in the 80s. Anyone who studied in the 80s in Wellington, these students are living in the same houses you lived in, except 30 years of decay and landlord neglect has just absolutely turned up the volume. I mean, we saw there was snow in Wellington. How are students supposed to, like, I was lucky that I went, oh cool, I've got a little bit of a buffer because of that I'm no longer a student, so I could turn the heater on for that day. And well, I wasn't warm because the heater couldn't really fight that, but the privilege that it is to be able to stay warm on a cold day is just, yeah, it baffles me that people think it's acceptable to kind of expect students to just get good grades in these conditions. And I think much of what I can see from the chat too, they're all tautokuing, also pointing out community services card can only go so far. And when it can't do that, that's where people like VUWSA kind of turn up and help out. So, I mean, obviously, thank you for helping our students. While you're a student yourself, I think that is one thing that kind of uh, people don't also acknowledge, is that, like, in our student associations, like I was on UniQ, like, you're taking on extra mahi on top of your paid income that you have to have, and your 40-hour-a-week full-time study. So it's just insane that we think that it's acceptable to make just things that much harder. And I think, I think you've really just summed that up beautifully. I think we need to make students a priority, and I hope that politicians in this run up to this election do speak to students and do make them a priority, which I think you might like the Green Party manifesto. Just gonna say that as a little side thing, because they got some good stuff in there for students. I had to start this comment. We got a Cam co-host for the night, which I'm not gonna. It's We've already got Cam on a Friday night, whānau. I'm not going to hold you hostage. Obviously, though, if you want to hang around, you're more than welcome. But I think on that note, this note, students are our taonga. Is there anything else you'd like to kind of close us off with?
Look, I appreciate you for the time. I appreciate everyone here because I think that by being here, you have that care for students. Either you are one of us or you acknowledge what we're going through at the moment. If you've got a student in your lives and you can support them, please do. If you can go to the polls and you can vote in favor of students, in favor of these folks who are having a rough time, please do. And just keep us in your thoughts. We'll make it happen. Thank you very much.
No, and I appreciate you for all that you do. And best of luck with your studies. I don't know when or where the semester breaks are, but I hope you've got one sooner rather than later. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your night, Ihoa.
Thank you so much. Kia ora.
Kia ora. That was Cam Dickson from VUWSA, our Clubs and Activities Officer. Man, I knew I was going to have fun having that. Ems did jump in there for a second, as you guys could see, but I did kick her out because we were still in the middle of our corridor. I have sent her a message because I think they might have to head off somewhere. I've told her to jump in when she wants, though. And if she doesn't, I will at least pass on the message that Pat gave me today to give to you all. Oh man, that was such a good corridor. Oh, I love talking to students and I love advocating for students. It's definitely a very hard space to be a student, especially now. Like, I feel like, unfortunately, in some ways, I picked the worst time to go study. It was not the best position to be in, but yeah, hopefully, when we see stuff like this, it helps give more reasons for people to go, hey, you know what? Like, maybe we should actually change this. Maybe we should stop treating students as if they are just useless kids that just need to get off the couch and do something. They're doing a lot. They're working hard. I also saw a comment here from Spike City Rocker. Treaty Action Group is running enrollment stalls. If anyone has an event, we're happy to turn up and give out enrollment forms and check people's details. That is really good to know. Oh, apologies, whānau. Oh, get a dry mouth with all this yapping. But yeah, I definitely agreed that students are our taonga, and I think that we should start treating both our environment and our students much better. You might almost find when both of those are thriving, the country will thrive a bit more. All right, I realised I forgot to add our memes, which I will do that right now so that we can have a quick little meme break, eh? I feel like we've earned ourselves a meme break, and then I might jump into our little update from Pat. Oh, don't you tell me my meme file is invalid. How dare you? One moment, caller. I just have to download these memes. How do you download the PDF? There we go. We got it on there. All right. Come on. It's processing. It's taking its time. We're getting there. We've got a super chat. Study Boy NZ for $5 will be at the debate tomorrow night. Shame Seymour won't be there. Was looking forward to giving him some support. Oh, see, David's scared of you, Study Boy. You scared him away. Precious Whittle Snowflake. And Adam McKnight, thank you for your super chat, $2. 85 days until we vote. Oh my god, that number is... Okay, now I'm starting to feel like Ems usually does when we do the update. Ooh, it is getting closer. It also, I think the other part that's really getting me is that we're almost near the end of the year. Hey! I just started talking about Ems. And I
throw me straight onto the stream. Hang on, I can't hear you though.
That's fine. We can hear you.
I don't know if you caught that, but I was going to say I should just call myself Drunk Ems.
Hell yeah, I can change your
Can't
name.
hear me?
I'll change your name. No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Audio's going to be weird. Oh my god, I look like I'm dead. This is our tech man. Who
Hell
will be
yeah.
forever unknown. I don't know how to do it, but is there a way of like... Is there a
Yeah,
way
now you're just
to...
taking...
Oh, wait, hang on. These...
Hey. Oh, you are in a supermarket.
Oh yeah, sorry. We're in the supermarket.
Hell yeah,
We're getting ice cream,
supermarket trip.
Let's
Breakfast. We're having this for breakfast.
Chaos. Julie's got a collie. Apparently, I was supposed to go in there. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you were supposed to go in the trolley?
I was supposed to. I'm the child, apparently, tonight.
She's the baby.
I mean...
I'm the baby. I was stuck in the
Yeah.
middle of a ute. I've been dissed for just about everything.
Aww.
Hello
Poor Em.
tonight. Turns out he's the same height as Pat. So,
Who was
fuck
that,
me, I
sorry?
guess.
Who was that?
Paul Barlow.
Oh, I didn't realise Paul Barlow was
He's
that
the same
tall.
height as... He's huge. I was like, I looked up and I was like, oh, come on. And then I had to like qualify that I was the same height as Brie, and you and I are the same
Yeah.
height. So like,
Why a bunch of blocks?
Yeah, we're gonna have to recruit some extra short kings and queens on this network. I think.
we do need some short kings and queens in the BHN fan. I wish I could
Right.
turn around my camera and all I can do is this. Look, Chewy's going shopping.
We found you.
Going
we're
on a
going-
shopping trip.
We're going on a shopping trip because we were like, oh, let's go get some ice cream after we've been at the pub. And then
Hell yeah.
was like, well, we can do it economical and just go to the supermarket.
Hell yeah, saving money because who can afford
politics.
to?
Neopolitician.
Oh, it's Neapolitan.
Neopolitician.
Neapolitan. That's crazy.
Neapolitan's like the
You gotta get the foursome. Foursome.
No.
Oh, okay, we're having a foursome again. I didn't know we're doing that.
We're having a foursome.
All we came to Auckland for was politics and a foursome.
We've got Tapati Maori,
Somebody clip that.
Labour, and
Timestamp us.
Top?
Yeah.
Vanilla?
Sorry, Opportunity Party.
Opportunity is vanilla.
Yeah, well, they're vanilla.
Okay. I don't know what.
They're trying to
Can you
please
pick up some water for me, Pat?
Yeah. Big old V needs some water. So I think we're getting some requests from the chat.
Buy some goody gumdrop.
Yeah, we need the money.
We get a
Guys
super
are
chat
really
to buy
poor. I'm kidding.
Oh my god, you guys come on the stream just to hustle ice cream money? Man,
Yeah.
we are suffering.
Yeah. Whole thing. That's my favorite.
What do you
I
get,
guess
Pat?
this is the BHN meet up. Haha.
What have you got? Oh, it's water. Okay, Pat's got the actual things
Oh.
we need for tomorrow.
I guess must have heard Big Old V. She did say water.
There's a lot going on right now. Really
Well, at least it sounds like you had a good night.
we did.
Good
I met
turnout.
some amazing people. I met
What flavour ice cream do you like?
vanilla or chocolate.
We didn't get either of those.
You didn't get either of those. Hang on. That's not okay.
Hold on. There's some chocolate.
Wait, did you guys get
And
the awesome
no,
topic?
Pete,
Oh, we've
go
got into like
harder. She can't see the chat right now.
Sorry, I can't see anything. No, it's
Salted caramel. No, but didn't like.
okay. Well, what about the chocolate fudge sundae?
That's not on special.
I'm just imagining the stealing from Woolies song, but I won't play that. It's
No.
getting better. I think it's
No,
stabilizing.
But that's already got.
no, but I like cookies and cream, and I like vanilla, and I like chocolate. Jesus Christ!
You drunk?
No,
These are the big. This is the debate right now. The debate is about ice cream.
there's
I
no
see
debate.
what
This
we're
is what
doing.
it's about.
This is the pre-debate. The pre-debate debate.
Anyway, I'm gonna go get some cereal while these guys shit roast me. No, tonight was amazing. We had I met Master Aku,
Oh,
which is really
nice.
cool. I met Mac. These are names that I'm
Oh,
sure
hell
Magenta
yeah.
you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Who else did I meet? I met so many cool people. It was really nice to meet Paul Barlow was there, which was really nice.
Rogers, did Rogers turn up?
Yeah, so many Rogers. I ought to meet
Good.
Rogers before you.
Thank God.
That was pretty cool.
Everyone gets to meet Rogers before I do.
I didn't realize that. I was like, "What do you mean you haven't met Magenta?" And they're like, "I haven't met them in real life."
We just have a podcast together, you know.
I thought you guys might have caught up.
Nah, I didn't get time when I was here. Nah, sadly I didn't. I was hoping I could, but alas, not so. Also, I'm getting told salted caramel. That's a good one.
Hang on, caller.
You're right.
Do you guys
we're
want milk?
having debates on strawberry ice
Oh,
cream.
here's the milk.
To be fair, did they ever?
I'm
Now
putting
I'm
some
like, have I
strawberry
even
ice cream in the
noticed?
shops. I think it's conspiracy for cream. Did you say?
Yeah, that's the hard questions here on BHN. This is the hardest interview I've had all night.
They're red, and I really need to go to the toilet. Yeah, met some amazing people. It was cool. There was one moment where there was a guy who I don't think was part of the crew. Pat was doing a bit of a stand-up and a thank you for being here, and then he's just like interrupts his hand up like, just letting you know, I gotta head off. But it was nice to meet you all. But I gotta go now. We're just like, cool, bro. Can you? Okay, it's lovely to meet you. We're just like, woo, good work, dudes. Bye. It was so weird.
Oh, that's so funny.
Apart from that, that was great. It was fantastic. I got some group photos.
Just gonna need those next week.
I managed to put out some Polaroids. So if you're someone who got some Polaroids with me, that's cool. Met the people who own the bar. Had a really great chat with him and Chewy. And I think the kind of thread that we've, only just like the last 12 hours we've been here, the thread that we've kind of come to notice, I guess, from like even just the last 12 hours is that money can't buy community. And we have an amazing community behind BHN. From
the strongest community.
Sorry, I was putting milk on the thing. Yeah, you can't really buy that. And we've had people who've just sort of put their hands out and said, we're going to help, we're going to make this happen.
Aww.
Doesn't really matter what. The guys who own the bar tonight were amazing. Yep.
Hey, look at that. Hey! Wish I was there.
We wish you could be. Next one. Actually, next one.
Yeah, literally the next one.
Yeah, it's been very cool. Yoan was there tonight. Was really cool.
Oh,
Yep.
yes. Nice. After a long, stressful day, it sounds like you had a really good way to end it.
Yeah, we're I think we're all looking forward to a really good night's rest, and then tomorrow's all go, and we get to meet some more of you guys tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
And Papa Toy, which will be nice. And yeah, I need to sleep off the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you had a really good, merry time. Did you want to tell the people the little bit of news we got today, or should I do that when you guys are
Pat is
in the
looking to
car?
announcing the news that they got today.
What?
The extra news that happened today is Magenta, or do you want to?
Are you talking about Casey?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's all out. All the people who have bought tickets have known. Casey Costello decided to bail. Apparently, New Zealand First didn't know we were a bunch of lefty lunatics, and when they figured that out, somehow we tried to hide it. They said no. So we're taking tomorrow into more of a panel conversation with some to be confirmed, pretty spectacular guests. So if you're watching the live stream, you'll find out. If you're going to be there, you'll find out. That's about it. And Magenta, I think you got a link to a series of tickets that are actually free now. Because we think
Yes, I do.
you're not going to come and engage with show them out. The conversations around the treaty, the government obviously doesn't, but a cancellation by a couple of cowards is not going to stop the important conversations we need to have. There you go.
I love that you went
That's it. We're gonna
Robity
lose
for a
the-
minute there, and then we came back when he said cowards, and that was beautiful. But I think the people got,
Yeah, that's all you
got the
need.
most of the story. That's it. Yeah. So
Because we're going
that's
down the
the big
travel later.
breaking news is that not only are ACT chickens, but apparently. So does that mean that we're not getting them at all, or is it just cases pulled
It's a
out?
bit of TBC when it comes to the
Okay.
next debates. I think is your vibe that
TBC
we
on
get.
NZ
So-
first for the next one. Okay, no, that's good to know. I know there was some speculation and questions in the Discord, so figured I might
Yeah,
as well
I
ask
think-
while we had you.
Yeah, I don't think anything's confirmed for the next one. We're just focusing on this one, and then we'll figure out what's happening next week.
Hey, that's all you can do. 1 foot in
Oh,
front of the
okay.
other.
Apparently, we're not supposed to show you guys that we're driving a Hilux that might be diesel. Is it diesel?
It doesn't just hey, it's about mitigation, right? We generally are using EVs
in the
or
middle?
bicycles.
Sorry, I'm not filming at all. Do you want to just jump in there?
Let me just get it.
Yeah, do you want to just get in that U for me? Yeah, thanks. If somebody clip that.
Jesus.
Wait, no, hang on.
Gotta- I was gonna say that's a big step for Ems. Oh no, they're leaving you behind.
Ryan, get in. Get out.
Guys, Ems is getting picked on because she's the child.
I am literally the child of this bloody weekend. All right, I'm gonna go. We got
Oh,
some
yes,
rest
no,
to
thank
do.
you for joining
And,
us and have a good sleep.
That's all right.
I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to tomorrow, so have a good night, whānau.
Let me go.
Taki te.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye, BHF whānau.
Bye. Bye. Ted.
Oh,
really gonna-
Jesus. Guys, they're being
Oh,
absolute
it's chaos.
nuisances.
All right, hang on. How do I leave without
Just,
turning off this chat? I'm not doing the thing.
Let Magenta kick you.
You know how you
Can you
can do
feel
that
the
thing
same?
where you
I don't
open up
pick
all
me
the
up.
tabs and then you just close all of them? Do that thing. That's what I would do.
Oh, I see what. I know what
You
Pat
guys
was
are acting
saying.
like such boomers right now.
I see
I
what
know,
you
right?
mean. It's literally an end.
Oh my Lanta, that was hilarious. Hopefully Ems doesn't accidentally end it. Just hopefully she does the thing where you just there we go, she left, and I think it says the stream is still running, so I think we didn't get cancelled on, but oh my god. Look at those kids just absolutely making chaos in Auckland. We let these guys out of their mum's basements and all of a sudden they're bloody gallivanting around Auckland making a fucking ruckus. And you know what? I love to see it. But yes, so just in case it wasn't fully clear, unfortunately in the last 24 hours, Casey Costello has pulled out. So she won't be there. Unfortunately, Debbie Ngāti-Wapaka has had another event that she is having to go to. I believe it's a campaign launch. So yes, there's going to be some sub-ins by the sounds. Not sure who, so you'll have to either be there or tune in tomorrow night to see who fills in some of these empty seats that Casey Costello and David Seymour have left empty. But I do think what's kind of frustrating is that essentially we've had the government spend all the last 3 years wrecking everything, and now these guys want to go ahead and do a last minute cancel on us. Like, absolute shithouse. So, and yes, exactly, less than 24 hours is crazy. I absolutely agree. Casey Costello from New Zealand First. So, yeah. It does sound like, though, that New Zealand First, it's a TBC when it comes to our Wellington, and I'm then assuming our Dunedin debate. So, tai hoa on that one, just give it a moment, and I'm sure Pat will be able to update people once he knows more. I mean, these things are developing so quickly. It's really, really frustrating. So, as crazy and chaotic as that little mini BHN ice cream debate interview was, honestly, I think it's really good to see them just having a good time, given, like, Pat rang me just after they'd landed in Auckland to let me know the news and let me know to kind of share links, because obviously this is really shithouse, given how much, like, we all know how much work Pat has been putting into this, not just in this week or the week before, but for months and months and months. So it's really frustrating to see them go and essentially mean now we're stuck with a one-sided debate. I'm not sure how our sub-ins in. We might get some people from maybe centre or right places. I'm not sure. But it is really frustrating to see them go and do this at the last minute on Pat after, locking this in and him working really tirelessly. So what I'm going to ask, Whānau, is that if you have the means to, can you please, and you're in Auckland, please get a ticket and come along, because I think it would be amazing if we could just fill the room full of tax-paying voters, because we're all tax-paying, and I believe we'll all be voting. So even if you haven't voted before, but I just think that would really stick it to ACT and Casey Costello, just if they can see how many ears, eyes, and voters they're going to be missing out on reaching. And obviously that doesn't just mean attend in person. Please watch the live, there's the Worm. The Worm is so fun and so just, it's such a great little addition, and it's kind of a really fun part of the experience, if I'm honest. So yeah, just, I've got links here. Obviously though, completely understand if you are just really strapped for cash and you can't justify spending $20 on a ticket. Completely understand that. Shit is rough, as we've been discussing most of the night so far. So we do have some free tickets available. I've just put out the link for the paid tickets. So if you are able to, it'd be really awesome if you could support us and click that link. Otherwise, I'm putting a link in now, and these are specifically for our community funded tickets. So you can click the one that I'm just posting in now, and those ones won't cost you. Obviously, there's still, transport costs, so completely understand if it's out of your means. But if you have the ability to get a ride, so maybe catch a ride with someone. I know we've got our Discord, so maybe you can see if someone's got a spare seat in their car even. I'm sure there are plenty of people who would be happy to help take a fellow BHNer to the debate. But yes, please do if you can. I've sent that link out to all of our live streams at the moment. And yeah, if you can, just go along, because I think it'd be a really good way to Manaki Pat and all of this mahi that he's done, and just if he can see, go look out into this venue, this large venue that, as he told us last night, he upgraded the size of the venue to accommodate David's attendance, given, let's be honest, we all know people would come to see David. And I just think it would be a really good way to tautoko Pat if we can just have as many bums and seats as possible. You know what I mean? So that when he's up on the stage and he's doing this now complete pivot from the original format, because I believe there'll be, there's going to be likely a bit more room for questions. There'll be a bit more air and a bit more time. So if you really wanted to ask a question, you're going to have a higher chance, I guess, of getting one in now. So please do go and get tickets, tell your friends, share it on your Facebook or your Instagram stories. If you know some friends who love politics but might not know about this debate, just send them the link, and let's get as many people as we can to kind of come around them, because this is so frustrating. I mean, you guys saw Pat's very passionate kōrero last night, which I don't know about you guys, but I was loving Angry Pat. We don't get to see Fufu Pat come out, not in the strength that we got to see last night. And it makes so much sense. It is so ridiculous to just make these agreements and then go against them at the last minute just because you, I don't know, maybe finally did your homework about who BHN are and then decided, oh, actually, I don't like these guys. They're a bit too woke for me. And it's just so ironic because I was kind of thinking about it. And well, first of all, I did see a really great comment in the Discord about this nonsense. Just terrible optics for all of them to pull out of the Māori issues debate. It makes them look like, at best, they don't care about Māori. At worst, wait, actually that tracks. And yeah, it's not a good look. I mean, it does also seem like they're just using BHN as a bit of an excuse, a bit of a weak kind of veiled excuse to be like, oh, you guys don't like us. I mean, really, David? Were you surprised that maybe some of us don't like you? God. But then I was kind of just, we've been doing this job a while, and I was kind of thinking about how, kind of strange it is almost that David doesn't want to turn up. And then I started thinking about kind of things that he said around the Treaty Principles Bill. And I thought, wait a minute, isn't this the same guy that said that New Zealanders want a debate around these things? So I'll just go to this first article that I've trekked back to, just to really add some layers into the hypocrisy, or no, actually, not just add in layers to the hypocrisy and all of this, but also, like Pat says on the show so many times, we hold people to the standards that they set for themselves and others. And so this article, which is from November 12th, 2023. So we've got it here. Now, there's a group of people who don't want to have that debate because they're quite happy with the way that the courts and the Waitangi Tribunal and Public Service have interpreted the treaty. I think New Zealand does need to have that debate because the way it's currently interpreted is divisive, blah, blah, blah. So he seems really keen for people to get to have debates and discourse around Māori treaty things, right? And maybe this specific example was a little too treaty principle bills focused. But we also have another quote, which is from this article here in almost exactly 2 years ago in 2024. And so, no, that's gone too high. Why is it gone all the way? There we go. So they're talking about it here. Others say the debate itself was, believes introducing his controversial treaty principles bill is a worthwhile exercise. Whether or not it proceeds belongs to the select committee stage. Others say the debate itself will stoke division and the bill should be abandoned now, a view supported by the Waitangi Tribunal. But Seymour says Kiwis are up to having a mature debate about nationhood, unity, and rights. So how keen is he right now for a mature debate about nationhood, unity, and rights, if not on the big, hairy treaty debate, where it wasn't just about the treaty, it was about Māori rights and other things associated with this. He's such a hypocrite, and this is using his own words against him. Just absolute chicken shit, one might say. And actually, we've got a couple memes coming up for you guys that I think you'll enjoy. Even though, actually, I will say this: got a little gripe with bloody Chewy and Ems yesterday. Bloody coming for my memes and good news stories. Like, geez, Chewy, there's not a lot of good news, and well, there is a decent amount of memes, so I'll let you have some of them. But man, coming for Friday's space, damn. But nah, it's fun. It's fun watching everyone get in on the memes, because what an absolute shit show this week has been. But yeah, just thought I'd kind of put that across our screens, just to show that we're judging David by the standards that he set for himself and New Zealanders, and how much of a hypocrite he is. I believe we should, though, probably kia tere into our next story, which I wasn't sure if we were going to get a little feature from our meetup tonight, so it was really nice that we did. Don't mind me, Whānau, just had to do a quick cough, as you do. Alright, so we'll jump into our next story. Another example of more cost cuts coming in. So I had to go around the paywall on this one, Whānau, because they love to hide critical information behind paywalls. Something I had to do a lot when it came to Jim Grennan articles, especially. So yeah, Media Insider, RNZ to cut 25 to 30 roles in major cost-cutting move. RNZ is planning to cut 25 to 30 roles, which is about 10% of its workforce, over the next 10 months as a part of major cost-cutting move. The public broadcaster has told staff it needs to reduce staff numbers to remain financially sustainable. RNZ has around 342 full-time equivalent staff. I know this information is challenging, staff were told in an email from RNZ Chief Executive Paul Thompson on Friday morning. I am sharing it because we must work on this together and get the best outcome for our people and audiences, while acknowledging difficult decisions will be made. That's a nice way to put, yeah, some of you are going to have to go and line up at WINS and go through that degrading process, unless they can find jobs, but I can't say there'd probably be a lot going in the country for that. He said RNZ had absorbed a 7% reduction in funding in 2025 by cutting spending in several areas, including marketing and commissioning, and reducing staff numbers by 5%. In May this year, RNZ's funding was cut by a further 2%, with the prospect of another 5% reduction in each of the following 2 years. Essentially another 10% reduction over 2 years. Meanwhile, higher inflation is adding further cost pressures. Until now, RNZ has been relatively immune from the major cost cuts that have impacted commercial media firms. While it had to trim costs, this is the most significant cost-cutting program in recent years. We will now continue to review all of our costs and find further savings where we are able. However, given that 60% of RNZ's expenditure is staffing costs, our workforce will need to become smaller. So, I mean, yeah, they're definitely, I guess, making a lot work, considering 60% just goes on staffing alone. TVNZ, NZME and staff have all made various cost-cutting moves, while News Hub closed entirely in 2024. Thompson himself leaves RNZ at the end of this year. RNZ has been recruiting for a new chief executive. The cuts also come as the company announces major changes to its Saturday... Oh, this part actually... This part got me, whānau. I didn't know this. The cuts also come just as the company announces major changes to its Saturday morning show, with a new single host set to replace Susie Ferguson and Mihingarangi Forbes, following a 7-week consultation with staff. The number of staff who work on the show is also being reduced. These changes are part of RNZ's broader work to strengthen live audience engagement while ensuring programs remain financially sustainable. Moving the program's presentation and production to Auckland will also enable closer collaborations with RNZ's wider audio teams and make the most of our new Auckland facilities. Thompson told staff in the email today that as a first step, the company was reopening a voluntary redundancy scheme that was run in 2025/2026. So just yet another one in a one-year cycle. In the next 10 months, we will make a series of small targeted changes across the organisation and reduce or stop specific activities that are not delivering the best value for audiences, rather than one major change in programming or delivery. Thompson said the broadcaster would be guided by RNZ's strategy as it undertakes its cost-cutting work. He reminded staff of the broadcaster's 4 strategic goals, including increasing trust in RNZ. Not gonna lie, I feel like that's gonna be a bit hard when you're having to cut so much, because you can't just say that it's just what RNZ does. It's who the reporters are. You know, we get to know people like Mihingarangi Forbes and so many great. I can't think of them all off the top of my head right now, but there are so many articles we read with the same awesome reporters. So it seems like it'll be hard under that. Oh, got something in my throat. Sorry, whānau. I'm scratchy. Reflect a changing nation. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Win audience loyalty with energy and innovation. I wonder how much energy and innovation you can buy for less money. And run in RNZ efficiently and effectively. The company, he said, would be making the most of new data and technology, improving the way we plan and deliver our work, and focusing our resources where they can have the greatest impact for audiences. Also said it was expanding access to AI tools. So I guess we know where some of the gaps are going to be filled. Yeah, so wasn't too pleased to see this one come across the feed today. Obviously, our media has been struggling for a while with the just consistent funding cuts, because this is a government that's laser focused on balancing the books and going back to surplus. And I just... We've said it so many times when we have so many of these things happening, is it's just yet another loss. This is going to potentially push 25 to 30 people to look for work somewhere else, over in Australia, because it's close. And also, I don't know what they mean by implementing AI tools. That is such a vague and non-specific thing to say, which makes you question, okay, but in what capacity and how? Like, there are some things that it can be alright as a small little tool to aid things with, but that's generally to help the people, and be checked by people. So yeah, it's not a good look, but it is also sadly not too surprising. I did have a bit of a giggle, because I was obviously planning for the show today, and as I was on the good old BHN, why are you showing me reels? I was on the BHN Facebook page, mostly because I was looking for something. Oh look, I'm live on air right now, and there was, where is it? Here. So if I just change my screen, I'm thinking, okay, interesting. They're cutting more costs. And then I looked here at this thing. Open brief shows how media is critical of Luxon MP meeting, which possibly cost the taxpayer. And I mean, they have been quite critical of Luxon in this government. So, I mean, when we've got a fascist playbook in hand, hate to always bring it back to fascism, whānau. I'd love to not. I would really love if I could never use the term fascism or anything like that. But it does seem a bit like history repeating itself. Cut funding to mainstream media, flood the zone with right-wing media propaganda, increase tenfold. Especially when that includes, I don't know, mostly going on right-wing debates or platforms and avoiding leftist platforms. That's also another way that they're really amping that up, because they can't be held accountable by the right, because the right doesn't care. That's what they want. And it's just really, really disheartening to see RNZ have to go through more cuts, especially because, like, let's be honest, here at BHN, we love RNZ. RNZ is literally what helps us get our job done. You know, we rely upon these other journalists to actually, you know, go out there, do hard mahi, so that we can kind of look at all the stuff that's out there, curate some, and bring it to you guys. So, you know, this does affect BHN, because the less that RNZ can do, the less capacity they have, the less there is for us to go off, the less data there is for open brief. It's definitely not something to kind of roll your eyes at or just kind of go, oh yeah, whatever, I guess. It's disappointing. We deserve better from our media, and unfortunately, to get better, you need to fund better. That's really the kind of crux of most issues. Oh, man. She's a dry mouth today, whānau. My medication really dries me out. But yeah, that's kind of all we really got to kind of have on that one for tonight, because I've got a bit of a big one here for you, as I kind of discussed earlier in the show. But I think I didn't get those memes up. That's right. Ems came in before the memes. Guys, how could I leave you without memes for so long in the show? Well, technically it doesn't start with a meme, but we had someone decided to go around and put some BHN stickers. So, I mean, if you're in Whanganui, you might be able to go play Spot the Sticker. So we got this on old Carl Bates. Got another one here, which you can't probably see it very well here. So here's the zoomed in. And if you're not quite picking it up yet, look, it's right here. Oh, I actually don't know if you guys can't see my bloody arrow. That's right, never mind. Down the bottom, by National. Got a great little DTP sticker. And then we had a great little memified version. Look at the old Bates Motel. It's a great joke. And honestly, considering the house from the first picture, doesn't look much different, if I'm honest. But then we've got actual memes. Ah, yes, this one. So someone went in on the New Zealand death notices. On Tuesday, surrounded by lying friends and fake family, the National Party passed away after a long battle with the truth, delivery, and any form of empathy. Dearly loved by Christopher, Chris, Erica, Nicola, and Simeon, but nobody else. National will be deliberately missed by most voters on the ballot. Condolences to Sylvia, Mike Hosking, Matthew Horncastle, Stephen Joyce, and Paul Henry. But National has had its time wrecking the nation. 3 more years of suffering was cruel and unnecessary. Be at peace now and move on. A service will be held nationwide on 7th of November at a polling booth near you. All welcome. Rest in peace, National. We've all had enough of you. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Nobody is crying because we don't give a fuck. Beautiful. 10 out of 10. If you don't get this meme, you might have missed the news that Trump got he went onto a plane, but they kind of made a show of it, and then they snuck him off the back of the plane, and snuck them onto a different plane, but they didn't tell anyone who was actually flying with them, so they didn't know that they were on the decoy plane, because apparently Israel said he was in danger. So now we're getting some really funny memes of Donald being hidden inside of the food trolleys on airplanes. I couldn't find my favorite one for us to look at tonight, but yes, very fun, very fun. Just because you didn't get to be Prime Minister. I am fucking Prime Minister. I'm just stuck selling shit school lunches because some national MPs won't get off their fat fucking asses and help me. Oh, she has definitely... To be fair, her and Bishop have just looked miserable in almost every single press thing I've seen of them since the... full support of his caucus. Actually, that's something you guys might like to hear. I obviously went to my usual Wednesday night quiz at Eva Bar, which is where our meetup will be for the Wellington debate. And one of the quiz team names was literally the full support of my caucus. And it was just beautiful hearing, especially because they didn't come last, but when he read them out, it was like, oh, you know, like 7th place, although they should have been last, the full support of my caucus. It gave me a good giggle. This isn't a meme. Someone did actually chuck this in the Discord saying meme this. I didn't get time to meme this, if I'm honest. I was going to, but it was a busy day. But it's a great picture, great image. A good old red wedding. It's red wedding, I think. If not, some Game of Thrones crap. But yes, good old Chris Pink and Erica's just here, just absolutely laughing her ass off. And this has not aged well. Pink really set us up pretty good with this one. Pretty good with this one. Oh yes. Someone made this beautiful image. It started out with just David wearing BHN clothes and then turned into him being the full chicken, which I really appreciated. And if you want to use this emoji, go to the BHN Discord, and this is one of our custom emojis now available. Capitalism. Good news. With technology, we can produce more with half the work at RNZ. Workers. Cool. So we only have to work half the hours? Right? Get paid double? Right? We retire sooner? Right? Oh, capitalism. By the way, we rolled back your pensions. Fuck you. And I know Chewy shared this one, but if you didn't see it last night, this picture is probably going to be one of my favorite memes of this year. Just the National will repeal and replace Three Waters, especially with, I don't know if you guys have seen Bishop complaining about what replaced Three Waters. Tiaki Wai, yes, I saw horribly on Facebook he was complaining about it. So, God, you gotta love this government, right? Fuck it all up and then complain about it anyway and blame Labour for it. And we'll leave it on here and save a few of these for later. But I really, really enjoyed this. Apparently there's a comic called Chris's on, or I don't know if it is called this, but Chris's on Infinite Earths. And I really appreciated the attention to detail. We got a pink face upside down here. We got Bishop. We've got old Simeon there in the middle by Mark Mitchell. And Paul Goldie and Erica. Oh, and Luxon, of course. But, you know, no one likes him. But yes, some really good memes coming out this week. And I feel like we need it, right? It's been a week, especially with all of the pullouts. All right, so I guess without further ado, we should probably jump into our next story, which I'm now realizing, even though I've got a million things uploaded, I didn't upload one of them. That's fine. We'll do it right now. Because, yeah, obviously a lot of you have probably seen that Gloriavale has been back in the news, and I thought it would be really good to kind of look into some of these things because, I have been on some deep dives on the podcast scene, and it has not made the New Zealand government look so good, that's for sure. So I'm gonna stop sharing this screen. I'm gonna try to skip ahead a tiny bit. Yeah, because I accidentally recorded a bit too much of the beginning of this segment. And yeah, so we're going to listen to the breakfast segment from this morning. Ooh. Oh, that's right. It likes to autoplay. It's one of my least favorite new features they've changed. There we go.
Held to account after a judge found there were major errors in the Labour Inspectorate's investigation into the religious community as a workplace. The Employment Court finding says the inspectors misunderstood their powers and wrongly excluded children from inquiries in 2017 and 2021. It also concluded that allegations of child labour and forced labour needed a more thorough investigation. Joining us now is one of those leaders, Serena Pilgrim, and the manager of the Leavers Trust, Liz Gregory. Kia ora koutou, thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, I don't know why it has done that. Let me just see real quickly if I can just open up the breakfast. The bloody TVNZ link might be better because I didn't realise that had a bit of an error in there. Apologies, Whānau. I started watching the video to make sure it recorded all right, and the bit I watched it had recorded all right. So I will just very quickly try to bring it back. If not, I'll just move into some of our articles because there's quite a bit of content to look at anyway. Let me just see if I can get it going. Is it gonna play for me? It's going to take me all the way back to the beginning. That's what it's going to do. Technology should have remembered where I left off. How dare you? One sec. There we go. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there, Whānau. Oh, there we go. Alright. Found it. Okay. Let me save the day for myself. Oh, having to do everything by myself, guys. I want to be drunk eating ice cream in a hotel room right now with my friends. I hope they're having cute little like sleepover style ice cream vibes. Adorable. Anyway, we found it. We got it. I got it sorted. This time. Nope, that's the wrong one. I've got 2 minutes. You can get out of here. You're the right one. Correct. Alright, let's try this again.
7. Gloriavale Leavers are calling for the government to be held to account after a judge found there were major errors in the Labour Inspectorate's investigation into the religious community as a workplace. The Employment Court finding says the inspectors misunderstood their powers and wrongly excluded children from inquiries in 2017 and 2021. It also concluded that allegations of child labour and forced labour needed a more thorough investigation. Joining us now is one of those Leavers, Serena Pilgrim, and the manager of the Leavers Trust, Liz Gregory. Kia ora koutou. Thank you so much for being with us. Serena, I'll start with you. What were you feeling when you received the news of the judge's ruling here?
I think overall it was very validating for us. There is a lot of, I think, sadness as well that we were failed on so many accounts from people and agencies that are set up to protect people in vulnerable situations like us as children who didn't have voices to speak for ourselves. We expected and we needed protection from these agencies who did not give that to us. And so I think now hearing this, I think it's the wider population is starting to understand the scope of what we're up against. It's not just one community, it's not just Gloriavale, it's wider government agencies that have failed on multiple counts to do their job, really.
Liz, as Serena put so well there, you feel a degree of vindication, but then there must be an awful lot of frustration saying, yeah, come on, this is what we've been telling you.
Yes, it wasn't like the Labour Inspectorate didn't have valid information. And so we're going on nearly a decade sitting in an advocacy role, and it's been very frustrating.
Thank you, Whānau. I see the mute. Thank you. See, that's why I need Ems here. But basically, I was just trying to say is that I think that's a really important point, is that these have been going on for nearly a year. 10 years. And that's just these cases. This isn't all of the cases that have been put up and put back. Like, I also saw a comment pointing out the fact that there are still kids who will be working in these places right now. Well, maybe not right now because it's 10:30 p.m. at night, but currently in present day. So I'm just really, really concerned about what that's going to mean for 10 years in the future. Will we be getting new reports saying that right now, the same thing that people have been continuously leaving and coming out and being open about are still going to be happening, and they're going to have to sit there and go through this insanely long process just to be vindicated and maybe start the process of getting, something for that, getting finding ways to compensate for slave labor. Like, let's not be beating around the bush. Slave labor, because that is exactly what their lawyer has been kind of dealing with and trying to express to people, that this isn't just some weirdos in the South Island who are just doing who are just having their religious freedom. No, these are people who are actively using and harming other people, who then also have to come out of this cult and then go through all of the deconstruction required, while also trying to fight the governments and the courts. Like, that is so much to have to put on people who have already been through so much.
And I think the judgment, she used great words: irrational, manifestly unreasonable, and that's what we thought at the time. It's what the general public thought, and it's wonderful the judge thought it as well. I'm just not sure where the Labour Inspectorate's head was for all those years.
Yeah, so Liz, where does this leave it now? Is there a degree of resolution, or actually does it kind of just open things up again and say there are way too many unanswered questions?
Yeah, so the judicial review, I guess, opens the door at least for the Leavers to seek remedies, damages, ask for a quashing of the report, and actually they're also looking for a declaration of slavery and servitude. So it sort of opens the door in that way. But this is just a small government department failure in many ways, because in comparison with all of the other government department failures. So this is just a wee slice, I guess. But it wasn't a small failure. It was just manifestly unreasonable and irrational decision making. That's not small. It's not just a mistake or a blunder. This was deliberate.
So, Serena, what about you for next steps? Do you feel like there's more fight in you for taking this on? What next?
There's always fight in me. Absolutely. I think it's important I think there's a lot of unanswered questions. I would like answers from them as to why, because I think there's so many gaps that have left us feeling like, what was the reasoning behind it? And I think as human beings and as people that were failed by the system, I think we're entitled to those answers. So from myself, and I think I can speak on behalf of, all the other Leavers, we would like answers. So we will keep fighting until we get those answers and until we have justice.
Liz Gregory and Serena Pilgrim, really appreciate you joining us here on Breakfast.
And yeah, I couldn't tautoko her anymore. It is absolutely insane, some of the things that have come out of there that people have known about, that have been contacted about. And on the note of, kind of looking at what else is, has been neglected and hasn't been addressed properly, it made me think of a couple of articles actually that I saw over this last year. There was this one. Oranga Tamariki takes months to respond to Gloriavale child safety concerns. So it took months to respond to an Education Review Office letter raising serious and immediate concerns about children at Gloriavale after it was sent to a former staff member whose inbox was no longer monitored. So just poor processes around what you do with inboxes when people leave or change roles. The then acting Chief Executive Ruth Shinoda wrote to Oranga Tamariki's Chief Executive Andrew Bridgham on the 17th of December after a special review of homeschooling by 28 families at the commune. Shinoda detailed key safety and well-being concerns in the letter, including that Gloriavale School knowingly employed staff with prior convictions unsuitable for work with children. And in at least one instance, the school failed to act when behaviours placing students at risk were identified. And we all know that, I mean, I'm not sure if all of you know, but there was a recent documentary that came out on TV3. I wouldn't recommend watching the documentary in isolation. I think if you're going to watch it, that you'd probably benefit from a couple of the small clips I've got for us to look at from one of the leavers and survivors who used to actually be the poster child for Gloriavale way back at least 10 years ago. So yeah, really concerned about what the retroactive findings from this current case could implicate for things such as these. And I think, as that leaver was saying, she is, worried about what this could mean for all of the services. It's not just one service alone. It's all of them. Also, from what I understand, actually, I don't know if we'll watch the clip specifically, but Lilia Tarawa, she used to be a member of Gloriavale. She was born into the cult. She has been out and she has been a very staunch advocate for leavers, and also just holding space so that people can actually leave. And she talked about the fact that, like, with the way they're trying to say that they've changed, some of the people who are in place today are known to be parts of the traumatic and problematic issues that go back decades upon decades. So this isn't like, every single person who was related to these horrible, often sexual abuse related issues. They are still within the framework. In fact, one of them was actually on the, I guess you could almost call it a board or a panel working with Oranga Tamariki, and one of them is one of the known people who has, had some issues in the past. So these aren't isolated incidents. We also have, I had another, nope. That's not too many links. This one. It also made me think about this one. Report finds Gloriavale families living in overcrowded hostels with narrow homeschooling curriculum. We also heard, obviously, within the Oranga Tamariki, some of the homeschooling, the 28 families. So this is the same 28 families, I believe. And yeah, more than 100 children aged 6 to 16 had been granted certificates of exemption from enrollment at registered schools. Of the 103 children's homeschool provisions reviewed, 96 were judged as not being taught at least as regularly and as well as in registered schools, which, I mean, after the ruling, we've heard about the slave labour and the absolutely incredibly long hours they make the members of Gloria do voluntarily. It's no surprise that the children aren't necessarily getting good full service homeschooling because they're busy helping make money for the businesses that Gloriavale are running. The remaining 7 children were classified as too early to judge due to exemptions. And again, there's a lot of exemptions and not taking into account of certain things. Like we got here, 10 hostel families lacked ready access to drinking water and toilets. In one instance, 2 families comprising of 18 people shared a single toilet and a shower down a corridor. And I mean, sure, I know you can have, say, like some school showers where you might have to every now and then share a shower with a toilet and a shower with a lot of people, but even then, schools are going to give you more than a single toilet. That's ridiculous. Overcrowding was compounded by infants, preschoolers, and older teenagers being at home during learning times. And this is me speculating, but based off of what I know about even just big families, especially I'm talking more like, fundamentalist Mormon size families, is that the older teenagers are generally tasked with taking care of the infants and the preschoolers, and essentially they just become parents because they get handed off the youngest kids. So again, can't say I'm personally too surprised. So yeah, despite each family having a copy of the community's child protection policy in their homeschool folder, several families reported that they did not feel their children were safe and considered the policy and processes inadequate in practice. The ERO said some students on safety action plans required constant supervision, which was challenging in large family settings or shared spaces. Families did not always know who in close proximity was subject to a plan for confidentiality reasons, although many were aware of arrangements on their hostel floor. So just, again, not great findings. And there was a small, actually, I think I'll jump into, we'll jump into this small clip. We'll listen to a couple minutes from Lilia.
So there's that piece, but you cannot change a place and you cannot keep people safe when the same leaders who perpetrated the harm are still running the place. And Stephen Standfast, who's the current leader at Gloriavale, he knew he was a junior church leader during the time that his father was sexually offending, and he knew. So they missed that bit because it kind of looks like Stephen's going to do a good job now.
And this is her referencing specifically in the documentary. He is positioned in that way.
This is fresh face, different person there. Like, we're implementing all these safe changes with the governments here, Oranga Tamariki and the other government organizations to keep people safe, right? But he's part of the problem. So how can we keep people safe and truly reform a place with those same people in power? The entire leadership needs to be completely removed because they were all complicit in allowing this to continue to happen. And we need to reinstate either a different kind of leadership or bring people out of Gloriavale and integrate them into general society. So I believe in freedom of religion, freedom of speech. You get to believe and live in the way that you want. The problem with Gloriavale is that they live in a way and inside of a system that continues to perpetuate harm. And I'm not just saying that, it's been proven over and over again with all of the stories that I've shared with you.
Which is true. I mean, as we saw, there's even just a couple of snippets from recent news, and I didn't even bother trying to go back and find a bunch of historical stuff. I mean, I almost feel like from the time the first Gloriavale, was it a TV show? I didn't actually watch TV at the time when it came out, but everyone was talking about this crazy cult and the crazy shit they get up to, and yet this has just been, cruising along. This next bit I will quickly go into is kind of Lilia talks about how it's not only the slave labor that's an issue, it's actually the way that they groom and convince people that they are meant for certain purposes and nothing else.
Then Neville had a bunch more children with his 17-year-old wife as well. So, this is why Brian Henry, the lawyer, calls it a breeding camp, basically. This is a sex cult, because the entire ideology is that if this is your purpose in life as a woman, is to have children, to sexually please your husband, and you have no other goal in front of you. Your entire life is built around this idea of family. And this is what he was really clever in. He basically bred free labor, which is why Gloriavale is a slavery camp and why we have these landmark historical cases for granting these people that are called volunteers in an organization that is a charitable organization and enjoying the tax.
Also, I just realized, can we just take a moment to really absorb in 12 years old? This is what they're teaching people. 12 years fucking old.
Benefits of that. You've got these volunteers now being like claiming employment status and that being really important because of this, because these women are just breeding children. And a lot of the time people ask, oh, what makes someone join a cult? At this point, people aren't really joining Gloriavale. They're breeding enough that the place just keeps growing and growing and growing. So this whole idea of you can't practice birth control is a sin. Like, it is my absolute privilege now as a woman to have authority and autonomy over my own body and choose not to have children. So that's a massive shift for me. Like, I can't believe how amazing this is for someone who, I was a little girl and I got my period at 12 and I was over the moon. I used to pray, oh my God, please, 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 God, let me have my period so that I could fulfill my role as a woman. And I was 12.
Which, God forbid, how you would feel if you were someone who, I don't know, say, had onset of your menstrual cycle or couldn't have one at all. What would that do to a kid? How would that make them not feel like they were fundamentally broken when there's nothing wrong with them, when they're perfect just the way that they are? But what I'm also going to quickly dive us into is just, she spoke a little bit on like governments and kind of mentioning our government as well, and kind of, I guess, the responsibility that they hold. Let me just cue this up for you.
One tiny step forward, but it's because no one in government, and we're in election year right now, no one wants to put up their hand and say, no, Gloriavale has to get shut down, because then they could be seen to be stepping on people's religious freedom, and then they worry it won't get them into office. Like, they don't actually care about the people there. They only care about their positions of power in government. So it takes people like Brian Henry, the so-called zealot, to force this through the legal system in order for us to get real change. Because now we've got Leavers asking for reparations, which eventually might bankrupt Gloriavale, which would be ideal. If this did happen, if they were bankrupt, their way of life would have to fundamentally change. And it does have to change in order to keep the people there safe. And I don't think the question anymore that we should be asking is, should Gloriavale be shut down? The question we need to ask is, how can Gloriavale be shut down safely, offering the families the support that they need to integrate into society? Because I was a refugee when I came out of that place. I had no money. I didn't know what an FPOS card was. I had no clothes. I didn't understand how to be in the world. I didn't know what to do with my life now that there were options available to me. And I had to go and sit in and over here in New Zealand, it's called WINS, which is work and income, and they offer you benefits. And I had to try to explain my life to a government organization that is not set up to support me in that after that life. And
which I had not, I'll be honest, check my privilege. I hadn't even considered the fact that, like, you know, the Leavers will have to come out into a world that for some of them, they don't really know what's going on outside of their small isolated village or place. So to go from only knowing one very restrictive, very conservative way of life to all of a sudden you're an adult and now you have to try and navigate a system that's already hard enough to navigate if you've grown up in the normal world, I guess, if we're going to put it like that. And just, which I think just real quickly, I have to say, I'm so impressed with the way that Lilia has not only come out of this, but really, like, she's done some amazing work. And I highly recommend go and watch that entire episode, because honestly, we could have watched the whole fucking thing. It is amazing and it's great to listen to, and it gives a lot of insight into, you know, what she's been through, what it's like, what's, you know, she's also removed from this a lot further, so she does also advocate for listening to newer Leaver voices. But this was the last kind of little, this was a different episode. So same podcast called Cults to Consciousness. Highly recommend if you're really into that kind of stuff. I love learning about the different ways that people end up living. The psychology of cults is very, very interesting to me. And Lilia is also on YouTube, Instagram. She's doing awesome things with her life, so highly recommend. I think someone mentioned that they remember her from the show like 10 years ago, and she does actually in the one we were watching previously from Cults and Consciousness, the most recent one, does talk about how like it's really cringy for her having to see herself as that indoctrinated child. Because, you know, that would just be such a weird experience. But we'll just quickly listen to, this was when they were having a live stream and they had a Q&A.
Any other questions before we move on? Many people here in New Zealand want to go, oh my gosh, I think I need glasses now, want the government to step in and remove children from the cult. The problem is the trauma it would cause to do so. Yes. Any thoughts on how to do that effectively without the trauma? That's what we were talking about with the FLDS. Like, how do you avoid that?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you do. I mean, the kids have already got trauma, let's be honest. I think that like we really want the government to step in, and there has been a massive call like from the Leavers Trust and from Leavers, and I'm always talking about this if I'm ever on like television saying, well, why isn't the government doing enough? I think there's a real it's religious freedom and we can't overstep our boundaries with religious freedom. And it's very typical of governments to do that. And the New Zealand government isn't the only one behaving in that way. But I did read something recently where there was a judge who their father, and I feel like I'm going to say it was in Alabama, but the father didn't want his daughter going to church because she was being traumatized from the doctrines. And the father won the case. And so now his child is no longer allowed to go to church where she's been traumatized. And I think it does take the law stepping in and making these kind of decisions to support children to get out of environments like that. And equally so, I think that will apply to Gloriavale as well. And then the Japanese government it's illegal to tell a child that they're going to hell in Japan because of the psychological harm that it causes. So slowly, there are governments that are starting to go, no, we can see what's happening in the mental health system because of religious harm. And I think that I'm hoping that the New Zealand government goes in that direction where we're recognising not only physical abuse to children, but the psychological abuse to children within religious institutions.
Yeah. Well,
Which I couldn't agree more. And I think it's really interesting. I wasn't aware of, that law in Japan because, especially when, again, a lot of these kids in Gloriavale, especially the ones in there now, they have been bred from a self-sustaining ecosystem, essentially, as disgusting as it is. And they have had their lives just absolutely molded around these core set of very, very fixed beliefs. And the harm that religion can do is immense. Don't get me wrong. The things that some religious people and religious institutions can be amazing. They can have aroha. But we shouldn't just give a blanket, oh, well, it's religious freedom, so, oh, wow, it doesn't matter if it's, harming these children. And I do think that it's important for, our governments and our politicians to actually address Gloriavale. Like, we currently, I think I saw a great comment. Yeah, here it is. New Zealand's tolerance for cults from Gloriavale to Destiny is literally cooking our society to death. And I would have to agree. I think it's kind of like our our suicidal ideation and our high stats for suicide. Like, I do think that it kind of comes into that similar thing of, oh, well, I know that there's that this person's causing harm to their children, but it's not my kids, so I shouldn't step in, I shouldn't say anything, I shouldn't do anything. And I'm kind of getting sick of that because as Kiwis, we have an attitude that enables harm, that perpetuates harm and allows our children to be in the center of that harm. And like, we need to want better for our kids. Whether it's kids going to Johnsonville Primary School or kids in Gloriavale or kids in bloody California, we should all want for them to just have good lives, have drinkable water, have swimmable rivers, have food in their bellies, and not be forced into slave Labour, like, I don't know how anyone could look at this and go, oh, well, it's just a bit too complicated. It's not really that complicated. We need people to actually have the guts to stand up and go, hey, I'm genuinely worried about these kids and we need to do something. Because while they may have many amazing aspects in their lives, the long-term trauma and the mass level of trauma is just horrific. And given the way that Lilia described it as essentially now a self-sustaining ecosystem that doesn't need to recruit, like, how much worse is that going to be, where you're just going to end up with if no one does anything, we're going to have generations of children who have only ever known the Gloriavale commune and maybe got to go on a shopping trip to Christchurch, because I've heard they do go on shopping trips to Christchurch. Also, if you see people from Gloriavale, don't be mean to them. All right? That just means that they end up believing the shit that the people back home are telling them about the outside world. But yeah, we are getting close to 11, so I'm gonna wrap that up there. But I just thought there's some really compelling arguments and issues I think need to be addressed in relation to Gloriavale, because it's awesome that the current Leavers are getting some wins in court. It is unacceptable that it has taken 10 years for such a small amount of acknowledgement, because this isn't even fully fixing anything. This is just at least going, actually, you know what, you were right, the stuff you did tell us did actually happen. Yeah, we need a bit of a meme. I need a bit of a meme. I'm feeling heated about that. I've been thinking a lot about that over the week. So thank you all for listening and paying attention, and just, yeah, keep those people in mind. That's all I can say. Labour came out with a good meme again, guys. So we got a good one. I will show you. I'm going to have to restart it and turn off this.
Isn't it hypocritical to be collecting this money?
And I'm just entitled to the entitlements that everyone.
Yeah, how much do you spend a week on food?
Probably about $60.
What about you?
Successful, and let's be clear, I'm wealthy, sorted.
An intentional backseat to the sponsor run.
Also, if you're not familiar with what this format is, if you're a student, you're definitely familiar. Cahoots, it's a good old Kahoot. It also gave me a good amount of time to open up my side things. So actually, there was a real quick PSA that I'd like to put out there to everyone. So I learned that the people at Orange Sky, so Orange Sky are a service that essentially go around and they offer laundry services to people who are unable to do their laundry, be it homeless people or people who are seeing rising costs eat up their laundry budget money. And they're a great organization, but unfortunately they have had one of their vans in Auckland stolen and completely ruined and vandalized. They've stripped all the washing machines and amenities out of it. So if you can afford to, highly recommend going and donating money to Orange Sky. If you just Google them, Orange Sky New Zealand, they should show up. But if you're not able to donate money, if you watch Kiwi Pulse's live stream, so Kiwi Pulse live streams Parliament TV, all of the proceeds from Kiwi Pulse's streams go directly to Orange Sky. So even if you don't have money, there are ways that you can actually support Orange Sky and help them to raise funds so that they can try to get a new van back up and running, because it's a very custom build and something that is going to cost a lot of money to help replace a service that, while honestly, we shouldn't have to have services like Orange Sky jump in, but they are amazing. They have so many awesome volunteers. Like here in Wellington, they are on Cuba Street every week for the homeless to be able to do their laundry, and just really, really, really want to encourage you all to either watch Kiwi Pulse's live stream or go to give.orangesky.org.nz/winter 2026. Thank you, Middle Earth Marxists. Absolute G for that one. Thank you, Kiwi Burb. You can go to orangesky.org.nz as well. Those will get you there. And we do actually have, because I managed to find it, we got a little quick small happy news, but also I thought just to be a bit different on a Friday. Remember back on Facebook when we used to do flashback Fridays? Well, I was kind of thinking that in the I've been thinking about the El Nino and the fact that not enough New Zealanders give a shit about it. I saw a survey on Stuff, and most people seemed like they didn't give a crap. But I just thought, even though it's still chilly and cold, let's just watch an oldie but a goodie and think about El Nino.
G'day, it's summer and I'm working overtime. Getting all round the place, because no matter where you get to this summer, there's always a risk of fire. So, if you see smoke or anything suspicious, call 111 and tell them. Come on, keep it green.
Such a... I've been missing...
Chris Hansen had...
Oh, I've been missing the... now you guys know what I watch. I've been missing the Keep It Green and the Keep Aotearoa Beautiful. So, thought we could have a little bit of nostalgia. Apologies for the autoplay. And then this is just a quick little happy news to send us off into the night so that we don't feel too depressed about everything that's going on. Oh, damn it.
Through August, France announced a total ban on importing hunting trophies from endangered species, extending protections beyond lions to elephants, leopards, and cheetahs. Texas just paused almost 1,800 data center projects, while North Carolina scrapped a $19 billion one being built due to the power and water that these sites demand. Julie, the last circus elephant in Portugal, became the first resident of a new 400-hectare elephant sanctuary, her first real home after nearly 40 years in captivity. The RSPB bought 96 hectares in Wales to reconnect a rare Celtic rainforest, ancient woodland, and peat bogs into one wild landscape again. Cambodia became the first country in Asia and the Pacific to reach the global targets for effectively ending its HIV epidemic. And London launched a 10-year plan bringing together councils, community groups, and water companies to finally clean up its rivers and bring the city's waterways back to life. Tap, like, and share to spread some good news on people's feeds.
Yeah, a little bit of a good news feed dump. And then I guess I better get onto these last couple of super chats. And then I better get out of here because Emily's going to be like, how the fuck did you do over 2 hours by your damn self? And I don't know, man. I don't know how I do this stuff. I just love hanging out with you guys and having a yarn. It's always a good time. And I always have a lot of things in my head. So we got Lytton2133 for $2. M's the chicken suit. I wonder if anyone is going to turn up wearing a chicken suit, because that would just be hilarious. Especially given our David chicken emoji. Hi, Kiwi Bib. For $2, can you pick up some chicken for the debate? Oh, I don't know if they're worth... Have you seen the price of chicken? We're not doing chicken and rice anymore. It's beans and rice. Maybe a can of beans? Because they're full of gas. I don't know. Also, I did just have to acknowledge this one. I did see BHN debate, the Ahi Krimi crisis. I do love that. I do love that. We had very serious debate questions. And I got a... I will actually send this to Pat. Good debate question. If you're an ice cream, what flavour would you be? I think that's a great one. And then Wahiki 12 for $5. Pretty much a reflection of what the coalition government think of Māori and Te Tiriti. They don't give a shit. Absolutely not. They'll only talk about Te Tiriti and Māori if it's with the right wingers who will just dog whistle and do exactly what they want them to do, because... why actually come on and be challenged in your beliefs when you could just pull out at the last minute? And yeah, I had to agree here. It shows disdain, disrespect. They don't have any shame about it. Definitely not counting on any more righties to join. I mean, hey, any righties who do join, they'll be looking pretty good compared to the current lot. I will say. And I also just had a real last one is I love that Lilia and all the other Leavers get to wear whatever they want now instead of those ugly blue dresses. Exactly. The amount of resistance they will be doing through fashion and just choosing themselves and living good lives, like that is the real resistance. But thank you so much, Whānau, for hanging out with us. It's been a long week, and I'm probably not going to be there at the live tomorrow, so you might not see me in the chat. Apologies, I double booked myself. But I will be rewatching, and just so you know, whenever I rewatch, I always have that live chat on. I'm always watching what you guys are talking about because it just, oh, I love it. I love the gossip. It's so good. So don't forget the debate, Auckland, tomorrow night. 6:45 is when it starts, so that'll be when you get the stream starting here. We'll start with Chewy's Corner. It'll go into the debates, however that's going to be structured now, and it'll finish approximately 9 p.m. And I believe there's also a collective this Sunday. So, holy shit, you guys are going to get an episode from BHN every single day this week, man. It's a good week. It's a good week. But yes, I will miss you all. Oh, and real last thing, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say it in the credits, because that's what that time in the credits is for. So let's just start playing it. All right, let's go. Go away, I did the wrong one. I pressed the wrong button. My bad. There we go.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have their hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All have a lean either this way or that, and will be analyzed by what you and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's big hairy news.
Hey, look at me remembering where to put the noise down. But my one quick question to you all who are left, if you could please go follow Aotearoa tonight on YouTube, that would be awesome, because YouTube are going to be bringing in changes, meaning that the goalpost is going to get extended next year. So if we can make it to 500 subscribers, that would honestly make my year. But other than that, Whānau, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciated all the support from you guys in the chat. And you guys know I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I'm sure we'll see you back here tomorrow, then Sunday, and then Monday for the next episode of Big Hairy News. But other than that, keep cool to after school, Whānau, and ka kite. Come chat. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Kiwi Burb. We appreciate your moderation. MVP.